The wrestling world just got hit with news that nobody saw coming, and trust me when I say this is something you absolutely need to hear, because what happened to Seth Rollins has left everyone from fans to fellow wrestlers completely stunned. Before we dive into every shocking detail of this situation, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because you won't want to miss any updates on this developing story. Seth Rollins is currently lying in a hospital bed, and the images that have surfaced online are difficult to look at. The architect of the Shield, the man who has carried WWE programming on his back for years, the former world champion who has given his body and soul to this business, is now recovering from what can only be described as one of the most vicious attacks in recent wrestling history. This isn't some storyline, folks, this is real life, and the severity of what went down has sent shockwaves throughout the entire industry. The attack happened after a live event when Seth was making his way back to the locker room area. Multiple sources who were backstage that night have confirmed that what started as a confrontation quickly escalated into an all-out assault. Witnesses described hearing shouting followed by the unmistakable sounds of a physical altercation. By the time security and other wrestlers rushed to the scene, Seth was already on the ground taking blow after blow from his attackers. The brutality of it all has left many questioning how something like this could happen in what's supposed to be a controlled professional environment. Seth suffered multiple injuries during the attack, including a concussion, bruised ribs, and significant facial trauma. The photos that he later shared from his hospital room show a man who went through absolute hell. His face is swollen, bruises cover his upper body, and you can see the pain in his eyes even as he tries to maintain some sense of composure for the camera. Medical staff at the hospital have stated that while his injuries are serious, he's fortunate that nothing was broken and that with proper rest and treatment he should make a full recovery, though the timeline for his return to the ring remains uncertain. From his hospital bed, Seth decided to speak out about what happened, and his words carry the weight of someone who has been through something truly traumatic. He started by thanking everyone who has reached out with messages of support and concern. The outpouring of love from fans around the world has been overwhelming, with social media flooded with well wishes and prayers for his recovery. Seth acknowledged that while he's been hurt in the ring countless times over his career, this was different because it wasn't part of any match or any storyline. This was a real attack that could have ended much worse than it did. He described the moments leading up to the attack, explaining that he had just finished getting changed after the show and was heading toward the parking area when he was confronted. The individuals responsible approached him with what seemed like a professional grievance, but within seconds the situation turned violent. Seth tried to defend himself, but being outnumbered and caught off guard, he found himself overwhelmed quickly. He talked about the fear that ran through him during those moments, not just fear for his physical safety but fear about what this might mean for his career, for his family, and for his future in the business he loves. The identity of the attackers has been a subject of intense speculation. Some reports suggest it was individuals who had personal issues with Seth stemming from backstage disagreements, while others point to possible jealousy over his position in the company and the opportunities he's been given. WWE has launched a full investigation into the incident and has promised that anyone found responsible will face serious consequences, including potential termination and legal action. Law enforcement has also been brought in to investigate whether criminal charges should be filed against those involved. What makes this situation even more disturbing is that this kind of violence has no place in professional wrestling. Yes, the business is built on controlled aggression and physicality inside the ring, but what happened to Seth crossed every line imaginable. Backstage areas are supposed to be safe spaces where performers can relax and recover between shows, not war zones where they have to watch their backs constantly. The fact that this attack could happen in such an environment raises serious questions about security protocols and the culture within wrestling organizations. Fellow wrestlers have been vocal in their support of Seth. Roman Reigns, his former Shield brother, immediately flew to be by his side at the hospital. The bond between these men goes back over a decade, and seeing Seth in this condition was reportedly very difficult for Roman. Other wrestlers including Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and even competitors from other promotions have taken to social media to condemn the attack and show their support. The wrestling community, despite its competitive nature, is still a brotherhood, and when one of their own is hurt like this, they rally together. Seth also addressed his family during his hospital statement. He spoke about his wife Becky Lynch and their daughter, and how difficult it was to make the phone call home to tell them what had happened. Becky, herself a top star in WWE, has been dealing with her own emotions about the situation, torn between wanting to be by her husband's side and maintaining her own professional commitments. Seth made it clear that his family is his priority right now and that seeing them again and holding his daughter was what kept him going during the worst moments of the attack. The wrestling business has always been tough and unforgiving. Seth Rollins himself has been part of controversial moments throughout his career, from his heel turns to his rivalries that pushed boundaries. But this attack represents something far darker than any scripted storyline could ever portray. It's a reminder that behind the characters and the drama, these are real people with real lives who deserve to feel safe in their workplace. The industry has seen tragedy before, from injuries that ended careers to losses that shook everyone to their core, and this incident with Seth serves as another wake-up call about the need for better protection and support systems. As Seth continues his recovery, questions about his return to action dominate the conversation. He's a performer who defines himself by his work in the ring, someone who has built his entire identity around being one of the best wrestlers in the world. The thought of being sidelined indefinitely is clearly weighing on him. During his statement, he admitted that not knowing when he'll be cleared to compete again is almost as difficult as dealing with the physical injuries themselves. Wrestling isn't just his job, it's his passion, his art form, and his connection to millions of fans worldwide. The psychological impact of such an attack cannot be understated. Beyond the physical healing, Seth will need time to process the trauma of what happened. Being assaulted by people within your own industry, people you may have worked with or passed in hallways, creates a sense of betrayal that runs deep. Sports psychologists who work with athletes have noted that recovering from this type of incident often takes longer than the physical wounds suggest because trust has been broken and a sense of safety has been violated. WWE's response to this situation will be crucial. The company has faced criticism in the past for how it handles backstage issues and interpersonal conflicts among its roster. This incident provides an opportunity for real change, for implementing stronger security measures, for creating better channels for resolving disputes before they escalate, and for fostering a culture where violence outside the ring is absolutely unacceptable. Fans are watching closely to see whether the company will take meaningful action or simply let this fade into the background once the news cycle moves on. Seth's message from the hospital also included words of resilience. Despite everything he's been through, he made it clear that he's not going to let this define him or derail his career. He spoke about coming back stronger, about using this experience as fuel to prove that nothing can keep him down. That fighting spirit, that refusal to be a victim, is part of what has made Seth Rollins such a compelling figure in wrestling. He's faced adversity before, from career-threatening injuries to personal controversies, and each time he's found a way to rise above it. The support from fans has been truly remarkable. Arenas at subsequent WWE events have erupted in chants for Seth even in his absence. Social media campaigns with hashtags supporting him have trended worldwide. Fan art, video tributes, and messages of encouragement have poured in from every corner of the globe. This connection between Seth and his audience is something special, built over years of incredible performances and genuine moments where he's let people see the real person behind the character. That relationship is proving to be a source of strength during his recovery. Looking ahead, the wrestling world waits to see what happens next. Will those responsible face justice? Will Seth return to the ring, and if so, how will this experience change him as a performer? Will WWE make the necessary changes to prevent something like this from happening again? These questions hang over the industry as everyone processes what has occurred. What's certain is that this incident has left a mark that won't soon be forgotten. Seth Rollins speaking out from his hospital bed showed courage and vulnerability. He didn't hide his pain or pretend everything was fine. He was honest about his fears, his anger, and his determination to overcome this setback. That authenticity resonates with people because it reminds us that our heroes are human too, that they face challenges and dark moments just like everyone else. The difference is in how they respond, how they fight back, and how they inspire others through their actions. This story is far from over. As Seth heals and works toward his return, as investigations continue and consequences are handed down, the wrestling community will be watching and supporting one of their own through this difficult time. The brutality of what happened cannot be erased, but how everyone moves forward from here will define what kind of industry wrestling wants to be. For now, the focus remains on Seth's recovery and ensuring that he has everything he needs to heal both physically and emotionally from this traumatic experience. If you want to stay updated on Seth Rollins' recovery and all the latest developments in this ongoing situation, make sure you're subscribed to this channel with notifications turned on so you never miss an update on what happens next in this show.